Most people will walk in a casino, they'll see all the flashing lights, the loud noises. But what if I told you in the mix of all of these distractions is actually a secret language that the casino staff are using that you might never notice? My name's Brad and I've been working in casinos for over 2 years now, and let's just say I know quite a bit of inside information that the management or the companies wouldn't really want letting out. What I'm going to try and cover today is the way that we would communicate and why we would communicate. So a lot of the time we'd have to interact with our colleagues or managers from like across the table or like even across the whole casino floor if we had to. So we need an efficient way to do that. So firstly, I'm going to start with how we would do it. And I promise this is not a joke. We would actually kiss at each other in different tones or in different ways in order to portray on what's happening or whose attention we actually need. So I'll give you an example of what this sounds like. It will sound pretty much like this. And if this noise is made, then all of the dealers in the whole casino normally will just perk up like a meerkat and start looking around just in case it's for them, because a lot of the time I'd say it's quite important. So these noises that can also be referred to as casino kisses, if you like, usually come hand in hand with hand gestures. And no, we're not all flipping the bird at each other from across the room. I mean different types of hand gestures that may represent why we need their attention. So an example would be if you push your palms together then apart. That usually means fill, meaning that the chip tray is low on chips. So we need a fill of bigger chips, meaning it usually means it's getting rinsed or we're out of kind of small chips. Now, another obvious one is if someone who's about to spend a lot of money is coming to the table. I apparently cannot deal with that on my own, which I mean, fair enough. So I would have to do the casino kiss over to an inspector or a manager. And then usually the hand signal I would do with that is you would put 2 fingers at your eyes, like pointing at your eyes saying, I need someone to watch me. Because let's say they buy in for, usually if it's over $2,000, then normally you would have to have someone come and look at that. Now, I know you're thinking, oh, but Brad, this isn't that interesting or exposing at all. But I haven't told you why the managers might kiss at you. So let's use a hypothetical example. Mr. John, right? Let's say John wins a lot of money and the manager sees them win a lot of money. That is now the dealer's fault. There is no other scenario. It is not just what happens. That is the dealer's fault. And they will kiss at you and they will say something along the lines of, Brad, change your spin. Or, Brad, lean on one leg. Which, by the way, completely false. Like, absolutely untrue. That does not mean anything at all. But this is what the managers think they have to say in order for you to win the money back for the casino. You have to change the way you spin because your spin is too regular. Even though there is no way at all that my spin changes what number the ball lands on. Because there are literally like little bumps in the wheel which can bounce the ball in any direction, and you can try it as many times as you want, and because the wheels all spin in the opposite direction, there is no way it ever changes anything. Just to put that out there. And when the managers try to tell you this, they will instantly turn into a traffic controller and they will put their hand up like they're telling you to stop, and then they will circle their finger around like they're telling you to turn left or right, basically saying slow down the way you spin. So when they say this, the only sense I could make is that when you slow down the spin, they can put less bets on the table and you call no more bets like way sooner, which means they have less bets on, which actually effectively makes the casino make less money over time, but in the short term makes them win less often. So there are more tricks that dealers have to make players win less often, which I will discuss in a later video, but more around the topic of dealer communication. There's also a little iPad next to the dealer screen, and most of the time a dealer will leave a note on a player, mainly saying their habits or how much they like to spend or how fast they bet. Meaning if you speed the game up quicker. A lot of them like that, and they will lose their money a lot quicker. So that's another way that we communicate, is via iPad messages on players, because every player has their own little profile in the database that will have little notes on that dealers have left. So another side note, if you really want to get on anyone's nerves in the casino, whether that be a valet or a pit boss, what you can do is you can make these kissing noises at the valet. Let's say you want a drink, you can make these kissing noises and you will get the dirtiest look you have ever received in your life. And just a heads up for anyone that's getting annoyed by me saying valet, in a UK casino, or at least the ones I worked in, a valet is the waitress that walks around with the tray, not the person that takes the car. Or if you want the pit boss to, let's say, give you a camera check, you kiss at him, you'll get ignored straight away. It's not for the customer to do, but if you did do it, I would say it's rather funny. Okay, and now the last way that we would communicate with a pit boss is, this is only for niche casinos. In the few that I've worked in, this is only for one of them, is you would do if it's an emergency. So if there's a fight, if there's danger of any kind, you do a really loud clapping noise, like a really loud clap. And that will instantly get like the big manager to rush over to what's happening near you, because something really big's going down. So I've had people collapse before, or let's say a drunk guy has got into a fight with someone on the table, then you would it would be like a big clap and then lots of and then eventually security would be called. So a quick recap. So if you hear any kind of kissing noise, that can range from either you're being targeted for winning too much, or someone's buying in for too much, or someone just needs a drink. But if you hear a really loud clap, run. Run for the hills, because there's something big going down and it's probably not something you want to be a part of. So that's everything about the way that the dealers will communicate, and as you can probably tell, I have plenty of stories and things about the insides of a casino that I can expose or talk about, and I will be releasing that in the next coming days or weeks, so keep an eye on my channel. I'll be releasing more things. If you would like to know anything in particular, leave it in the comments and I'm happy to talk about it. And if you did like it, please give me your feedback on what the video was like. You know, kind of my first video on the channel, so something to look forward to, we'll say. So please, if you could, just leave a like, leave a comment, and hopefully I can dish out some interesting stories for the future if this all works out. So thank you, and I'll see you next time.